The day has finally come. Today we're gonna make a track in the style of Chris Lake. And Chris Lake, in my opinion, is one of the greatest producers of this industry. And I made a track in his specific style, so let's dive into it. Chris Lake is using a lot of crazy and weird LFO, ear candy kind of stuff in his productions. And the trick, I think, behind his tracks is most of the time it's sounding very simplistic, but there's a lot of cool things happening. So I'm gonna start here with the piano. It's super simple. So this is in the build-up part and this is in the drop part. So I'm not gonna dive too deep into this piano. It's just a super simple grand piano from Ableton itself. Used a delay and an OTT, and I used this reversed piano. For the people who don't know how to do this effect, I'm gonna show you that it's super simple. What you're gonna do is make a loop like this. Add a lot of reverb on this. You can do this on everything what you want, on vocals, on drums, whatever. And then I'm gonna add a second track underneath that. Then I'm gonna set this to main. Make sure you have one thing on the record button like this. And now if you record this, you have the audio file of that piano step. And now you can get rid of that reverb again, make the loop back how it was. And now if you unwarp this and reverse this, you have this piano step in another direction. And then you have this sound. And that's great for transitions, for example. And like what I said, you can use this on everything. I'm doing this in every production, every kind of sound, vocals, drums, whatever. And that really works. So now we come to the low end. I went for this kick with the kick tweak on it, beefs it up a lot. Then I have used the operator with this synth patch, and it's a square D, which I've used here. Drum bus, some EQ, and a filter. It's super low filtered, and I played around with the frequency knob here and there, as you can see here. So it opens up here, and it opens up here. And a kickstart too for sidechaining, and it's no higher mat. It's super simple. This is how it sounds together. So, and then on the group, I added this Saturn. This is how it sounds without. This is how it sounds with. I don't know, it just gives it a little bit more boost in the low end. And I do this a lot in my productions. And then we come to the drums. They are super easy actually. So it consists of this head, this clap, this open head, another open head here to close the bar, and a top loop. And then on the B part there is a ride, opens up the high end a lot. And then together with the low end it sounds like this. And these kind of things really helps to keep the listener entertained. These gaps, I've used that here as well. And that's it for the drums. On the whole group, I added this mix gel, and this is kind of gluing it together. It's some basic compression. Yeah, it sounds pretty solid, I think. And then we come to, I think, the most important thing, and that's the effects. There's a lot of effects in this small production. I'm gonna start here in the beginning. So there's a lot of stuff happening, but they all make sense together. And I'm gonna start with the bleep one, because this is actually from this alarm sample. And what I did is I made it shorter and I added a lot of effects on it, like the auto pen. And this one is super important. This is doing some crazy shit here on the LFO, and it sounds like this. Together with that delay, making it very uplifting, like you can really feel that there's something about to come. And here with some reverb. And Chris Lake is doing these kind of stuff a lot. Then we have some ear candy. And make sure that you don't just overproduce this kind of stuff. Make sure that everything makes sense in a way. That's what I did here in this production. There's a lot of ear candy stuff, but if you hear it together with the low end and the drums, it sounds like this. I kind of love this stuff, and I really think that this is the secret behind that kind of style. Then there is a texture underneath, that's this bubble, and this is actually coming from a long build-up. But I just grabbed one small part of that and I repeated that all the time. And if you hear that with the drum, sounds like this. Sounds weird, but it makes sense again. And yeah, that's why I added that kind of weird texture thing underneath it. And then I have a few risers here and there, like this one. And then the last thing, that's this vocal.
Figure out. Take me down. Take me down. Figure out. Take me down.
And if you hear it like this, it sounds pretty offbeat, but together with the drums, with everything, it sounds like this. And then it stops, and that's really giving it that heart pumping effect. So I really like that. So in these kind of tracks, it's super important that you don't have to overuse things, don't overproduce things. Make sure everything get the right place in the track and in the mix, play around with volumes and stuff. And this is basically how you can create a track in the style of Chris Lake. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like. That gives me a lot of inspiration and motivation to make more videos. And by the way, just put in the comments who you want to see in the next video. And see you on the next video. Ciao.